Welcome to Crafting and Relaxing. This is Sarah, and today I'm sharing an alcohol ink project with you. Ty's Crafty Spot sent me these clear plastic things. They're Tim Holtz fragments, and Tanya and Crafty Reasons both commented on the video that I should use them for something, and Crafty Reasons said alcohol inks. So here we are. I got out the alcohol inks. Noni loaned them to me, my neighbor, and started playing with them. You might see bottles of Tim Holtz, Pinata, or Marabou, all fine alcohol inks, just different color palettes a little bit. Then I'm playing with alcohol too, and I've sped this up at 1.5 because when I was editing it, I thought it was a little boring. They color up very nicely. I'm very happy with the way they color. My application of the inks was a little heavy. You can see that just because of the size of the object and how big the drops are. I had some trouble getting interest and moving things around. I liked the ability to control the transparency. If you've played with alcohol inks and used Yupo paper or the poster board from Dollar Tree or the Terra, whatever the other one is, whatever your paper of choice is, you know that you have the ability with alcohol inks to control the saturation levels. The drops that come out of the bottles compared to the size of these things are a little tricky, and I made some adjustments later in the video for that. I'll show you. I think that there's a lot of potential. So when I took that clear acetate and pushed it down on there, what I was trying to do was, at the same time that I colored these fragments, also color some acetate, because remember, alcohol inks are permanent. My thumb is, it does not look good, but it should be okay by the time I go out in public. I was trying to print and make patterns. They didn't hold. The ink was too thick. And the spoon, I'm bringing in alcohol. I didn't have alcohol in a spray bottle handy, so I used the spoon. It moves, alcohol moves the alcohol inks around. If you want to know more about alcohol inks, I have other videos and I'll link to some below just so you can see them. The other thing I did was I put the alcohol ink on the mirror paper, and I loved that. I should have done that yesterday when I was working on a project where I wanted the perfect purple mirrored alcohol ink, mirrored paper, and I didn't have it. I could have made it. Alcohol inks, we think of them as something you play with to make background on projects, but really think about all of the other options. Anything in your house, well, okay, let's not get too crazy, but things in your house or your craft room that you want colored, you can color them with alcohol inks, and I'll show you some more examples of that later in the video. What I did here was I flipped that tile over in alcohol that was wet on the counter, but then I think I fiddled around too long and it barely has any. So that spot that won't take the blue, that's because it has alcohol there. And then I'm just moving them around. They look like those, I always forget words and you guys are going to have to help me. Those little glass things, you know, from science class. That's what they look like to me. It'd be great for Halloween projects. You could do some scary things with these. I loved it when I stamped those layers, but it just doesn't hold the texture. It was too thick and it wasn't drying fast enough. So I was having trouble getting interest. I didn't have any trouble getting color at all, but I definitely had a bit of trouble getting interest. Then I'm going to fiddle with these a little more, and then I'm going to show you what they looked like when they dried, and then I'm going to touch them up some more. The saturation level, I mean, you know I love the blue, right? I'm a sucker for the blue. Okay, so this is what they look like when I walked away and then let them dry. They did keep some interesting patterns and textures. That one has a dog hair in the middle of it, so that's not good. I don't know if that's coming out. That one had a lot of variety. I didn't love that it was clear so much. Okay, then I had an idea. I had these stars and I wanted to color them, right? If you have iridescent stars and you're working on Christmas projects and you have red alcohol ink, you should be able to dye them. So that was what I was thinking about. Can we dye our embellishments? Can we dye? I know we can dye like glass ornaments. You can take them and fill them. Now, the problem with this section is when I held that bottle of ink up to the camera, it never readjusted. So then I had to cut it all out. But you can see all I did was put drops onto those stars to turn them red. And I left one where I didn't do it, and I'll show you that one in just a second when we go back to focus. Okay, so this is at the end when I'm done. I did all kinds of detailed techniques, worked on this for about 10 minutes, and had to take it all out. But I'll just talk you through it. The stars, all I did was drop the red alcohol ink on them and let them dry. And I fiddled with those fragments a bit more. See the stripes on that pink one? That is from taking a toothpick, dabbing it around in yellow ink and laying it down there. So what I figured out was if you're going to work on a tiny, tiny surface like this, you need to use toothpicks or little paint brushes. I just use toothpicks, and I put the drops of alcohol ink onto the plastic and then dabbed them on. I love how that mirror paper turned out. Again, I would definitely do that. I don't know that I'm going to do tiny little alcohol ink projects ever again. I didn't really enjoy the whole toothpick process. Sorry that you missed the entire thing. But I did like the idea of coloring embellishments. Like if you're trying to do Halloween projects and you don't have a lot of orange embellishments, but maybe you have alcohol ink, there you go. Make them orange, use them on your Halloween projects. I think that just gives you another idea for using alcohol inks and for getting creative with embellishments and not having to run to the store. I really like how some of these turned out, and I'll probably use those red stars on a Christmas project. And here I'm showing you the package. That's what they look like. There's so many at the top, it's covered up, but they're called sparklets. But I think you could do the same idea with sequins. You might want to use like tweezers and dip them or something. If you get it too thick, it gets sticky. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.